languages and travel the world. Hear your English with minimum effort and maximum benefit. And today I'd like to, which works out to be quite confusing for students, and that is the difference between bring, take, get, and fetch. So let me share a document with you on that, because if you can visualize it, it makes it that much easier. So here we have it. So you can see here that the choice between bring or take usually depends on the location of the speakers. In fact, I've made a diagram below which shows on the left I and on the right you. And that makes a difference on the location of the speakers. So if Susan is speaking to Jim, she refers to something that is with her and she uses bring. So looking at the diagram, let's say I'm going to Jim's house and I want to bring a CD. I can say, I'll bring the CD with me. I'll bring it to your house. Or if I want Jim to come to my house, I'll ask him, can you bring me, I don't know, can you bring me a book that I'd like to borrow? So bring is always carrying with you from yourself to the other person or from the other person to yourself. In fact, I've written here, generally use bring when something moves from here to where the person you're speaking to is and vice versa. So that's quite clear in the diagram. Instead, if Susan refers to something that is at a different location, she uses take. So if you can see the diagram, we've got Peter, which is not, I mean, he's somebody we're not actually talking to. And if you look at the diagram, I take something to Peter, but I'm not talking to Peter, I'm talking to Jim. And I can get Jim, who's now indicated by you, also taking something to Peter, but we're not actually talking to Peter. In fact, it says here, generally use take when something moves from Susan to a location different from where Jim is. Okay, so I could speak to Jim and I could say, Peter lent me a great CD. I'll bring you the CD when I come tonight because I'm going to Jim's house. So I'll bring you the CD. I'll bring it with me. Then, of course, we don't know what to do with the CD after that. So I can say to Jim, you can bring it back to my house on Saturday and I'll take it to Peter's house. Or you can take it to his house when you go tomorrow if you've finished listening to it. So here we're using take to take it to someone else's house, but this someone else isn't in our direct conversation. So bring is actually between you and me and you, whilst take is to somebody else who isn't in our direct conversation. I'd say that this diagram clarifies it best. Then there is fetch, which is a very British word. Get is used in both languages, British and American. And it's used when speaking about going somewhere and getting something and then bringing it back. The Americans use get as well as the British, and fetch is typically British. So, for example, I always fetch the children from school at 4 p.m. Means I go to school, I pick them up, and I bring them home. Whilst the Americans would maybe probably say, I get the kids at 4 o'clock. It means I go, I get them, and I come back. I could also be eating in the dining room and ask somebody who's going towards the kitchen, saying, oh, can you get me a spoon? That means, you know, can you get the spoon and bring it back to me whilst you're there? So get is used for going, getting something and bringing it back, which is different from bring with me or take to someone. And then at the very bottom of the page in green, not very visible, is the word carry. Now, in some languages, carry and bring and take tend to be the same word. So instead, in British English or in American English, carry only means transporting with your arms. So you feel the weight. For example, today I did a lot of shopping and I had trouble carrying the shopping bags, literally taking the weight of the shopping bags. So carry is to bring in your arms. Very often when someone gets married, the husband carries the wife over into the house or into the apartment through the front door, and that means she's in his arms. Okay, so I hope that clarified it a little bit, because it's not that easy. The best way is to actually practice. So when you go somewhere and tell someone that you're taking something to their house, you can say, I'm bringing a cake, is that okay? And then maybe you can bring me back the empty plate tomorrow when you come. Or if we discuss together, well, what should we take to the school party? Should we take some cupcakes? That means we're talking between, between you and me, but we're going to take the cupcakes to the party, which is elsewhere, the school party. Okay. And then, yes, we have to go to the supermarket to get some ingredients to make the cakes with for the school party. All right, well, I hope that was useful. I'd like you to click on this button so that you can download some fluency exercises which are absolutely free to help you in your free time practicing whilst you're doing something which isn't particularly difficult, cleaning, tidying up, or even driving. And at the same time, if you haven't subscribed, you should click here and subscribe. Okay, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you have any questions, do write them in the comments box below and I'll get back to you with the answers. All right, well, that's all, and have a wonderful day.